We have an update on a story we first brought you back in March. It's about a young woman who disappeared in London on her way home from a night out. Sarah Everard's murder prompted a nationwide debate over violence, harassment, and abuse of women.
On March 3, 2021, something terrible happened in London. A young woman named Sarah Everard was kidnapped and murdered. This shocked the whole country. This case brought up so many big issues in Britain about women's rights, police powers, and violence against women. It led to debates that are still going on now. On March 3, 2021, 33-year-old Sarah Everard left a friend's house in Clapham, South London. It was about 9 p.m. at night. She started walking home, a journey of 50 minutes. She walked along well-lit roads. She was on the phone to her boyfriend for 15 minutes. Her boyfriend heard her arrange to meet for lunch the next day. At 9:28 p.m., Sarah was seen on a doorbell camera on Pointers Road. At 9:32 p.m., she was seen on the dashcam footage of a passing police car. These are the last confirmed sightings of Sarah. At about 9:30 p.m., Sarah was walking along a road called Pointers Road. A man had parked a rental car along the pavement. This man was Wayne Couzens, a serving police officer. Couzens showed Sarah his warrant card and handcuffed her, claiming she had breached COVID regulations. Sarah would have felt like she had no choice but to go with him, since he was a police officer. They got in the rental car and drove towards Kent. Just like that, Sarah had disappeared off the streets of London. The day after Sarah Everard disappeared, her boyfriend reported her missing to the police at 4 p.m. on March 4th. He was extremely concerned since it was very unusual for Sarah to not show up without letting him know. The police began investigating right away. They collected CCTV footage from the Clapham area in South London where Sarah was last seen. This footage showed Sarah's movements on the night of March 3rd leading up to her disappearance. At 9:28 p.m., Sarah is visible on camera walking down Pointers Road, which she was taking as part of her route home. Around 9:30 p.m., the CCTV shows Sarah with an unidentified man next to a rental car. The police could make out the license plate number of the car on the video. Additional CCTV footage captured the rental vehicle driving away from London towards Kent later that same evening. Based on the direction of travel, the police quickly started searching areas of Kent for signs of Sarah or the car. The CCTV evidence gave them critical information about the vehicle involved and its movements. Though the man's identity was still unknown, the police now knew a rental car had left London for Kent the night Sarah vanished. This focused the investigation and search efforts on Kent. At this point, the police did not know the identity of the man with Sarah. They just knew he had a rental car and had likely taken Sarah to Kent that same night. On March 9th, the police made a huge breakthrough in the case. They arrested a serving police officer named Wayne Couzens at his home in Deal, Kent. Couzens was a firearms officer with the Metropolitan Police in London. Couzens had just finished a shift protecting the U.S. Embassy that day. He was arrested on suspicion of kidnapping Sarah. When questioned by police, Couzens came up with some fake stories. He said he didn't recognize Sarah in a photo.
Do you know Sarah? I don't know. Okay. Sarah went missing.
He said he'd been paying for sex with a prostitute that night, but the police had strong evidence linking Couzens to Sarah's disappearance. His car rental records, phone data, and the CCTV footage of him with Sarah. The police investigation was now focused completely on Couzens. They believed he had kidnapped Sarah using his powers as a police officer. Even after arresting Couzens, the police still did not know where Sarah's body was. They searched extensively across Kent for any sign of her. Finally, on March 10th, they made a tragic discovery in a woodland area in Ashford, Kent. They found human remains in a large bag, about 100 meters from some land owned by Couzens. On March 12th, dental records confirmed that these remains belonged to Sarah Everard. The police were no longer looking for a missing person. Sarah had been murdered. A post-mortem examination later revealed Sarah died from compression of the neck. She had been strangled. The country was shocked and outraged when Sarah's death was announced. A serving police officer had abused his powers and murdered an innocent woman walking home. Many questions were raised about police vetting and culture. Why had Couzens been able to join the police with his abusive tendencies? With Sarah's body found, the case against Couzens was overwhelming. On March 12th, he was charged with kidnapping and murdering Sarah Everard. Couzens appeared in court but did not enter a plea at this stage. The case was complex. Police were still gathering evidence about what exactly happened to Sarah. Over the following weeks, More disturbing information came out about Couzens' behavior. In June, Couzens pleaded guilty to kidnapping and raping Sarah. He also admitted responsibility for her death, but did not enter a murder plea yet. Finally, in July, Couzens pleaded guilty to murder. The case against him was irrefutable given all the evidence. CCTV footage proved he took Sarah. Phone records placed him in Kent. His car was identified. Sarah's body was found on his land, and there was proof he bought supplies like tape and bags before the murder. While the court case progressed, public anger grew over Sarah's murder and what it said about women's safety. Sarah was just walking home, something all women do, when she was targeted by a predator. Many women shared stories of harassment and narrow escapes to highlight the dangers they face. They called for action to prevent male violence against women. There were peaceful vigils and protests across the UK to honor Sarah's memory and campaign for change. This made people even angrier at police. They already failed to stop Sarah's murder by one of their own officers, and now they were aggressively shutting down protests about it. The police response was criticized by politicians across parties, and many called for Met Commissioner Cressida Dick to resign. An official review found the policing of the vigil was a public relations disaster. In September 2021, Couzens finally had his sentencing hearing at the Old Bailey Court. At Couzens' sentencing, the judge said his abuse of police powers made this an especially severe crime. Couzens exploited his position as an officer to kidnap Sarah. He showed her his warrant card and handcuffed her under the pretense of arresting her. This tricked Sarah into going with him to her death. The judge gave Couzens a whole life prison order, meaning he can never be released. Many agreed this harsh sentence fit Couzens' shocking betrayal of authority. Police are supposed to protect the public, not abuse their powers to attack innocent women like Sarah. His punishment reflects the gravity of violating the public's trust as an officer sworn to serve and protect. But the Everard case proved there are still serious problems of misogyny and abuse in the police force that must be rooted out. The horrific murder of Sarah Everard sparked a national reckoning about women's safety and trust in policing. It led to demands for action on tackling violence against women and reforming police culture. New bills were proposed cracking down on issues like street harassment, and inquiries were launched into how Couzens was allowed to be a police officer. But a year later, many women feel not enough has been done. The problems that enabled Sarah's murder still exist. Officers are still accused of misogyny and abuse. The Everard case left a lasting impact on Britain's consciousness. It revealed painful truths about the constant danger women face and the systemic failures that allow it. But it also sparked powerful activism and demands for change. Sarah's memory continues to drive efforts to improve women's rights and safety today. The death of Sarah Everard touched thousands of women who understood her vulnerability. By sharing her story, we can keep fighting for a world where women are safe to walk the streets at night.